When it finally happened, they were less than impressed. They slammed the No Doubt singer over everything from her appearance to her singing voice. For the past few months, fans claimed that Gwen is more unrecognizable than ever. She's been at the center of plastic surgery rumors. As TV shows Ace previously reported, fans weren't impressed with Gwen's pouty selfie. They told her to lay off the Botox and fillers. Find out what else they had to say about her recent performances. On Wednesday night, November 30, Gwen Stefani performed at the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting ceremony. In her first performance, she wore an elaborate silver dress as she was surrounded by young men dressed up in Santa Claus costumes. Gwen was the first to perform during the televised event with her rendition of Santa Claus is Comin' to Town. She finished off her look with her blonde hair styled in old Hollywood curls. The singer also had on gold eyeshadow and her signature red lipstick. Gwen returned to the stage later in the show to sing Under the Christmas Lights. This time around, she changed into a red and white checkered bolero with a matching corset dress and white tights. During the show, she was slammed for both of her looks. Some fans claimed she looked like aluminum foil in her first performance. Others weren't on board with her fashion sense. They feel that Gwen has lost her looks and sense of self in the past few years. The pop star continues to ignore the backlash over her appearance and looks. She attributes her GXVE beauty brand and strict skincare regimen to her young appearance. During the NBC special, fans took to Twitter to share their thoughts on both of Gwen's performances. They were less than impressed with her holiday looks and wondered what happened to her. The fans were ruthless as they picked on everything from her outfits to her face and even her singing abilities. WTF happened to Gwen Stefani's face? Why was Gwen Stefani dressed like a Hershey Kiss? What did Gwen Stefani do to her face? Did not recognize it was her at all. Is it just me or Gwen Stefani no longer Gwen Stefani? Blake Dunn made her basic. Gwen Stefani is the latest victim of celebrities who think Botox looks better. Are there people who actually enjoy listening to Gwen Stefani's voice? What are your thoughts on fans dissing Gwen Stefani's vocals and fashion sense? Do you think she rocked it at Rockefeller Center? Or were you less than impressed as well? Sound off below in the comments section. Gwen Stefani, a name synonymous with 90s ska punk brilliance and an iconic, boundary-pushing fashion sense, has always sparked conversation. For decades, she stood as a cultural juggernaut, a genre-defying force who has transformed from the frontwoman of No Doubt to a solo pop sensation. Yet in recent months, a wave of criticism has swept across the internet, with fans voicing their dissatisfaction with both her vocals and her once unassailable style. The backlash raises questions about the ever-changing relationship between artists and their audiences. Stefani's distinctive voice has always been a polarizing subject. Her high-pitched, slightly nasal tone helped define No Doubt's hits like Don't Speak and Just a Girl. However, as she has transitioned into pop music with tracks like Hollaback Girl and The Sweet Escape, her vocal stylings have undergone a noticeable evolution. In recent years, fans and critics alike have pointed out what they describe as a decline in her vocal prowess. During a recent live performance at a major music festival, social media erupted with less than glowing reviews of her set. Comments like, "Her voice doesn't hit the same anymore," and "She's straining to reach the notes she used to nail effortlessly," flooded Twitter. Others took a gentler approach, suggesting that aged Stefani is now in her early 50s may have played a role in her changing voice. "She's not the same Gwen we grew up with," one fan lamented, "but she's still Gwen." However, some critics were less forgiving. "If she can't deliver live anymore, maybe it's time to hang up the mic," one particularly harsh comment read. This vocal scrutiny isn't new. Artists like Madonna and Mariah Carey have faced similar challenges as they aged. Yet for Stefani, whose identity is so tied to her youthful exuberance, the criticism seems to sting more deeply. Beyond her voice, Stefani's fashion sense has come under fire. For years, she was a trendsetter who effortlessly mixed punk, glam, and vintage styles. She made plaid pants chic and popularized bindis during her No Doubt days, a choice that's since sparked its own conversations about cultural appropriation. But her more recent looks have been polarizing at best and uninspired at worst, according to fans. On a recent red carpet, Stefani's outfit, a neon yellow feathered mini dress paired with thigh-high boots, garnered mixed reviews. While some applauded her for staying bold and true to herself, others criticized her for trying too hard to cling to her younger, edgier self. "It's giving midlife crisis," one Instagram user quipped. The critiques have extended to her television appearances as well. As a coach on The Voice, Stefani's wardrobe choices have been called distracting and confusing by viewers. One viral tweet read, "Does Gwen Stefani dress herself in the dark? Or does she just have terrible stylists?" Another pointed out that her current looks lack the originality that once defined her. "She's just doing what everyone else is doing now. Where's the Gwen who took risks?" The backlash has highlighted a broader phenomenon in celebrity culture, the difficulty of evolving while under the scrutiny of millions. Fans often hold artists to the standards they set in their prime, making reinvention a double-edged sword. For Stefani, whose career has spanned nearly 3 decades, staying relevant without alienating her core fan base is a tightrope act. Some fans have come to her defense, arguing that the criticism is unfair. "She's still putting herself out there and creating," one Twitter user wrote. "Not everything has to be a masterpiece." Others have pointed out that her willingness to experiment is part of what made her a star in the first place. "You can't expect someone to stay the same forever," a longtime fan commented on Reddit. "That's what makes her interesting." Stefani has not been entirely silent amid the criticism. In a recent interview, she addressed the vocal backlash, saying, "I've always sung the way I sing. I know I'm not a technically perfect vocalist, but that's never been the point. It's about emotion." She also touched on the challenges of aging in the music industry. "People are quick to forget that time changes everyone. I'm still learning, still growing, and I think that's something to celebrate." Regarding her fashion, Stefani remains unapologetic. "Fashion is supposed to be fun," she said in the same interview. "If people don't like what I wear, that's their opinion. But I'm not going to stop expressing myself." The backlash against Stefani, while jarring, is emblematic of a larger issue within the entertainment industry: the impossible standards placed on women as they age. Male artists often escape the same level of scrutiny, with their gray hairs and gravelly voices celebrated as signs of wisdom and authenticity. Meanwhile, women are expected to remain ageless and flawless, both in appearance and performance.